Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Inside Taiwan. I'm Melvin Tan. While attending an International Academy of Comparative Law conference, President Ma Ying-jeou said that he has been and will remain committed to promoting the development of cross-strait peace based on a foundation of the Constitution of the Republic of China, the 1992 Consensus, and the One China Different Interpretations principle. Citing the basic treaty signed between East Germany and West Germany in 1972 as an example, Ma expressed hopes that Taiwan and China can recognize each other's right to rule without having to recognize each other's sovereignty.
During his inaugural address on May 20th, President Ma Ying-jeou noted that there is room for discussion in defining the cross-strait positioning of the Republic of China as it relates to Taiwan and China. While attending an International Academy of Comparative Law conference on the 24th, Ma said that he has promoted the development of cross-strait peace based on a foundation of the Constitution of the Republic of China, the 1992 Consensus, and the One China Different Interpretations principle since he has been in office. Citing the basic treaty signed between East Germany and West Germany in 1972, the president also discussed in regards to cross-strait relations a concept of mutual non-recognition of each other's sovereignty and mutual non-denial of each other's right to rule. In closing, Ma expressed hopes that Taiwan and China can seek common ground while reserving differences and jointly pursue a future of peace.
On May 23rd, the business improvement team for CPC and Taiwan Power Company met for the third time to discuss CPC's management performance. Minister of Economic Affairs Shi Yanxiang says that in the future, when a CPC senior manager becomes the director of a CPC investment company, the salary must be carefully reviewed.
After the CPC and Taipower business improvement team's third meeting to discuss the CPC's management practices, Minister of Economic Affairs Shi Yanxiang reported the resolution to the press. Minister Shi says most committee members do not believe that CPC overpaid for procurement as rumored, and the procurement procedures were compliant with regulations. However, salary reviews are needed when any senior managers becomes the director of a CPC investment company. The CEO of the Consumers Foundation, Su Jinxia, also attended the meeting. Su says that even though procurement costs differ for CPC and Formosa Plastic Group due to differing structures, the CPC should strive for lower costs and save money for the public. The Ministry of Economic Affairs says that besides lowering costs, the committee members have requested the CPC to make public its procurement procedures and process flow and invite experts' review. The Consumers Foundation praised the CPC for disclosing related information and hopes the company will continue to be open for operations reviews.
Kaohsiung's Tong-Bok Sky Tower has more than 1,000 daily rental suites available at low prices. As the property is centrally located, reservations are hard to come by on weekends and holidays. Over the long term, however, many of the suites have been operating in a legal gray area. One unit owner recently obtained a legal hotel license, and others are likely to follow suit.
The floor-to-ceiling windows provide a spectacular view of Kaohsiung. On weekends and holidays, reservations at Kaohsiung's Tong-Bok Sky Tower are hard to come by due to low rental rates and the central location of the property. While unit owners have been operating in a legal gray area for some years, one unit owner recently obtained a legal hotel license with the assistance of the Kaohsiung Tourism Bureau. Others are expected to follow suit. To operate as a commercial hotel, emergency evacuation routes must be clearly marked and fire equipment must be installed. As disputes between tower residents and daily suite rental operators are common, the Tourism Bureau is optimistic that proprietors are open to legalizing their operations. However, the establishment of a single management window may be an impossible endeavor in the short term because the tower's 1,000 suites are owned by more than 800 individuals or entities. According to estimates, it may take up to 4 years for all owners to acquire legal operating licenses.
On May 23rd, the former National Security Council Secretary General Suu Kyi criticized the legislative cross-party consultation mechanism as the darkest corner of democracy. One day later, Legislative Speaker Wang Jinping responded that Su lacked an understanding of the consultation mechanism and added that there are no limits to the consultations as everyone can participate. In addition, these negotiations are needed to prevent time from being wasted with regards to proposed laws.
During a symposium on May 23rd, former National Security Council Secretary General Su Qi criticized the cross-party consultation mechanism between legislators and called it the darkest corner of democracy. Su declined to further explain his statements, and Legislative Yuan President Wang Jinping took that to mean that Su lacked an understanding of how the system works. Wang said any legislator can participate in discussions as there are no limits. Moreover, this type of discussion is needed to prevent time from being wasted. Meanwhile, several DPP legislators also expressed their displeasure with Su's statements, while the PFP's legislators pointed out that discussions need to be transparent. Su had also pointed out that the government appoints too many affairs officials, that there are enough administrative officials, and that no one dares to defend the policy. The presidential office did not respond.
This year, the test-free admission policy for high schools was expanded to provide at least 55% of the quota for each school district. In the Keelung New Taipei district, out of the 56,000 spots, over 30,000 students were accepted, yet only 26,000 registered, which is less than 50% of the total number of spaces allotted. The district held a review meeting this week, at which it was suggested that the students be allowed more than one school choice for the test-free admission phase next year.
The Wulai Junior High School in the New Taipei City is the model school for test-free admission, with 20-some graduating ninth graders enrolled in vocational or high schools through the test-free method. Wulai is a small school where most students come from indigenous tribes with obvious talents and aptitudes and pass test-free admission easily. Other students from larger schools in the Jibei district did not survive the first rounds or failed to register once accepted. Therefore, out of over 56,000 admission spots for the Jibei area, only 47% or 26,000 students registered. Some high school principal believes the one-school choice limitation is the problem. On May 23rd, the district held a review meeting and decided that students may enter 2 or more school choices next year. This year, the number of applicants for the application admission phase has decreased by 11,000, perhaps due to increased enrollment during the first test-free admission phase. The highest threshold is a score of 380 in the Jibei area, with a 30-point spread between school choices to avoid the situation of students with high scores admitted to a less favorable school. This year, many vocational and high schools set aside a 70% quota for the test-free and application phases of admission. Even the top-ranked Jianguo and Taipei First Girls High School set aside 45% for application admission. Teachers and principals advise students who missed out on the test-free phase to take advantage of the application admission phase.
China Medical University recently applied to the Ministry of Education to set up the nation's first postgraduate department of veterinary medicine. The move has angered the veterinary students from the National Taiwan University, National Zhongxin University, National Jiayi University, and National Pingdong University of Science and Technology. The students believe the proposed department will lessen the quality of veterinarians and disrupt the job market, and started a petition on the internet to voice their opposition. China Medical University responded this week saying that the new department aims to cultivate research challenge and will not compete for jobs with existing veterinary students.
The China Medical University's plan to create the nation's first postgraduate department of veterinary medicine has been met with criticism from students of the nation's 4 veterinary schools who set up an internet petition against the proposed department. The CMU, in response, stresses that it intends to train research talents and not compete for jobs with other veterinarians. According to statistics, Taiwan has the highest density of veterinary hospitals among Southeast Asian countries, with 1,500 hospitals and over 3,000 registered veterinarians. The number of small animal hospitals has reached a saturation point. In addition, the 4 veterinary schools admit a total of 240 students per year. The petition against CMU's new department demands a unified school system where only veterinary colleges can set up veterinary departments, and new departments must be branched from the existing 4 colleges. Signed by 200 people, the petition also demands a cap on the total number of students admitted. The Education Ministry's Department of Higher Education says that all will be discussed during the review process. The CMU's current plan is to admit 45 people for the proposed 4-year studies. With opposition and market saturation, it remains to be seen whether the proposed department will pass through the ministry's review successfully.
Hakka writer Fan Zhi has been writing for over 2 decades. A native of Miaoli's Sanyi Township, she mainly writes prose. Fan recently published a novel based on the life of her maternal grandmother, coming and going from Hualien Harbor. Tells the story and experiences of a strong-willed Hakka girl who moves from Miaoli to Hualien. 1/4 of the novel is written in the Hakka dialect, which gives the story a decidedly local flavor.
Fang Zi fell in love with writing at the age of 30 while working at a magazine. The writer is renowned for her prose and recently published her first novel. Coming and Going from Hualien Harbor is based on the life of Fang's maternal grandmother and tells of the experiences of a strong-willed Hakka girl who moves from Miaoli to Hualien. 1/4 of the novel is written in the Hakka dialect, which lends a unique local flavor to the story. As most immigrant histories are written from the male perspective, Fang's novel has important implications for the genre. The author says that she may publish sequels from the same perspective in the future to allow readers to experience the deep emotional connection between Hakka women and their land.
The Hanguang Fruit and Vegetable Production Cooperative in Xiluo of Yunlin County is Taiwan's largest traceable produce provider. Each package of produce grown by the cooperative has barcodes, which tells the end user who grew the product, the time it was harvested, and what quality controls it passed. As a result, many Chinese agricultural officials have traveled to Xiluo to learn about the process.
On top of each package of the produce are barcodes, which are akin to identity cards for these vegetables. They allow end users to determine who grew the produce, when it was harvested, and what quality controls it passed. In this way, the quality of the produce is guaranteed. This is how the Hanguang Fruit and Vegetable Production Cooperative works. It spent 7 years to establish this traceability system. Every 3 years, it checks the quality of the soil and the water. Whenever a farmer sprays pesticides or spreads manure, he or she has to input it into the system. Before harvests, agricultural experts check the crops to ensure that pesticide residues do not exceed the standards. Last year, the cooperative sold 1.14 million bags of 20 types of produce, all of which are traceable. Customers include hypermarkets, convenience stores, the military, and schools. As a result, revenues have grown from 0 all the way to 50 million NT dollars, and the cooperative has become Taiwan's largest traceable produce provider. In addition, the cooperative now receives hundreds of delegations of Chinese officials each year, as they are eager to learn about the process.
Many netizens shop online for the convenience. However, for some farmers, selling online remains a far-fetched prospect. And that's why 2 years ago, Zhonghua Post started providing assistance to farmers to help them develop their online presence. This year, it collaborated with a farmer from Luye Township to launch the first online organic tea leaf selling business in Taidong County.
The tea plants are neatly arranged, but the overall scene is marred by the presence of weeds between the plants, some of which have grown even taller than the plants themselves. This is because Li Jingrong, a tea farmer who has more than 30 years of experience, does not use any herbicides. He prefers to pull out the weeds one by hand. He only allows the weeds to grow in the summer because while other tea farmers have 4 to 5 harvests a year, he only harvests twice a year. Over the years, Li has brought innovation to tea cultivation, and he was the first farmer in Taidong to grow honey black tea leaves. He began to grow organic tea leaves after seeing that demand was on the rise. His products have been well received due to his strict quality controls. As a result, Li caught the attention of Zhonghua Post, which has spent the past 2 years developing a platform for farmers to sell their products online. The two sides agreed to work together, and thus Li became Taidong County's first farmer to collaborate with the post office to sell organic produce online. The Taichung Post Office says that many farmers are interested in selling online, but they lack an understanding of the necessary technology, and so they run into difficulties. It also encouraged farmers to join the post office's platform so that both sides can jointly develop business opportunities.